Hey everyone, what's going on today? I just wanted to discuss one of my most favorite Shakespeare plays ever, Macbeth. So, just because I like doing reviews of things that I have just seen or done. Actually, I'll talk about that later. But, uh, recently in English class, like in the last month or so, we read Macbeth, and honestly, I did not like it! um, Compared to other Shakespeare plays, like even The Merchant of Venice was very anti-Semitic, but the plot was interesting, and Romeo and Juliet, good. Julius Caesar, that wasn't too bad. I mean, it was very boring, mind you. Shakespeare, Julius Caesar was very boring, but the plot was a little bit more. I don't know, but Macbeth was a bit interesting. I should say, I should give it what credit it deserves. It has a plot. It has a plot, but it's very confusing, and let me tell you why. Because Macbeth, it's like, okay, it's not bad, but it's just not what I'm into. Maybe you're into it, and I think someone can definitely be into Macbeth. But Macbeth, it's just a story about old Scottish kings, and so many people die, and so many people, like a few people, leave the country that I just could not keep track of the other men besides Macbeth. I could tell you all their names, like for the most part, like Seward, Ross, Duncan, Malcolm, Banquo, Macduff, but they just all sound so similar. And I'm a theater kid. Spoiler alert: I'm a theater kid, at least musical theater kid, and I know Hamilton, the Tomorrow and Tomorrow reference, and then Madison is Banquo, Jefferson is Macduff, I'm Ambition is my folly, Birnam Wood is Congress on its way to Nancy, and I barely understood that. All I knew is that Macbeth is ambitious. I don't know what that was. That did not help me. I'm sorry, Lin-Manuel. It just was very hard to understand. There were some nice soliloquies here and there. Otherwise, Shakespeare is interesting. I think Shakespearean theater is really interesting, and especially since he really pioneered it. But some of these just are not my thing. I'm interested in what other ones there are and the modern adaptations of this, but that's a good jumping transition point into my next talking point, which is the 2015 R-rated movie featuring Michael Fassbender that my English teacher showed us. And honestly, I didn't think I was getting any quiz on that, so I did not pay attention in some spots. So if my memory is a bit faulty, I'm sorry. But let's talk about it. I think there were a lot of cinematic shots, which I really enjoyed. And according to my class, Lady Macbeth, she less went crazy, but more just was like, I do agree a little bit that she was just a figure to be there, in my opinion. But she was like more not timid, but like subservient, and I felt like she was just there to be there when she played a bigger role in the book, I think. I was expecting the unsex me scene to be a bit bigger, as my English teacher showed us like a recording of someone else doing it on stage, and it was like very dramatic, and this one wasn't very. Macbeth, they adapted it very interesting because some things took place in different locations and whatever, and the way that the way that Birnam Wood went to Dunsinane was very different as well. But I think out of the book and the movie, my favorite part is always the witches, because I love supernatural elements and things. And they were done very interestingly. The three witches, the weird sisters, whatever you want to call them. There were more weird sisters in here than there were witches. There was less double trouble, boil and bubble or whatever, and ingredients in a pot and whatever. Then there was less that, and it was more just like three young women standing in a field spectating. But they were like almost like omnipresent, not omnipresent, but they were more present, and it was neat. It was a nice take on them, because they were like spectating prophecies go through, and I always loved the prophecy element. That was probably my favorite part from the book as well. A lot of beheadings. The movie was very graphic, and I enjoyed that because it made me like, oh, they stay on the edge of my seat a little bit longer, and that was nice. In the film version, spoiler alert, Birnam Wood goes to Dunsinane by it getting lit up on fire, and then the smoke makes it hard for them to see them instead of trees, which I just think isn't as effective on the battlefield. But that doesn't really matter too much. It's just it makes it less satisfying, the payoff and whatever. And I think the way that I played out the play in my head when I was reading through was a lot more entertaining than in some ways. Like, I imagine the final fight scene going like, "Ha! I was a C-section, baby." And then he beheads him. But in movie, where he's like at each other's throats and like, "I was from my mother's womb, untimely ripped." And it was a lot more like Shakespearean, which I guess it is Shakespearean, you know. But it was just not exactly what I expected. But otherwise, I think I enjoyed aspects of it. Overall, I'd give the whole story of Shakespeare and the play, let's do the play. I'll give the whole story 6.8 out of 10. The play a 7, and the movie a 7.3. There you go. I don't know, I think it's fun to talk about these kind of things. So, if there's anything you want me to watch, I can do it, but I already have a very long watch list, and I don't know, it's fun to like just talk about this kind of stuff. So, thank you all for listening. If you did, see ya.